When it comes to horse racing, you can never have too much information. With Twin Spires, you can place your bets with confidence, whether you use handicapping insights like our Brisnet speed ratings, prime power and past performances, the guidance of our experts' top picks, or just choose a name that catches your eye. Yes! No matter how you pick your horse, bet with Twin Spires. And now you can share the thrill with friends using our exclusive Bet Share feature.
Welcome back to the Twin Spires Racing Roundtable. I'm Ashley Anderson here with James Scully and Vance Hansen. Today's roundtable topics will be Dornoch's win in the Grade 1 Haskell. We'll talk Thorpedo Anna and her potential matchup with the boys in the Travers and what else caught our eye from the weekend. And Vance, since you're back from vacation, welcome back. I will start things off with you. And let's talk Dornoch winning his second straight in the Grade 1 Haskell here after winning the Belmont his previous start. So is he now the horse to beat in the Travers Stakes?
You know, I'd reserve judgment on who the horse to beat in the Travers is until after the Jim Dandy this coming Saturday at Saratoga. There's no question Dornoch padded his credentials for the 3-year-old male title by winning the Haskell. And you add that Grade 1 win to his previous wins in the Belmont Stakes, as you mentioned, and in the Fountain of Youth, his first start of the season. And he's arguably the most accomplished 3-year-old male in the crop up to this point. I still wouldn't sleep on a horse like Sierra Leone, though, who is going to be running in the Jim Dandy. We know that horse loves 1.25 miles, and his record is pretty good, too, winning the Bluegrass Stakes and the Risen Star. And, despite his setbacks in the Kentucky Derby and Belmont Stakes, I think Sierra Leone is going to be a potential major threat in the Travers. We'll see how he does in the Jim Dandy. And also, I have to remind viewers also that he also owns a 2-to-1 edge head-to-head against Dornoch so far this year. So, Dornoch is probably the favorite for the 3-year-old title going into the Travers. He might seal the title with a win there next month, but I think this race is still kind of wide open, James.
Well, he's going to be a top contender regardless of whether he's favored or not in the Travers. Dornoch became the first 3-year-old male to record multiple Grade 1 wins this year, and he did it by stringing together important races, the Belmont Stakes and the Haskell. One thing you could say about this 3-year-old male division, at least in my opinion, is they've been inconsistent this year. There's no standout. Dornoch has done something that nobody else has been able to do up to this point. I said he might not be favored because there's a chance that the filly Thorpedo Anna will be favored, or the winner of Saturday's Jim Dandy, like Vance referenced. That's going to play a role in the ultimate Travers equation. But I do want to say, I do think he's unquestionably risen to the top of the division right now. Those wins in the Belmont and Haskell, if we were voting today, I don't think there'd be any doubt that he'd be the champion 3-year-old male. Now, he's got a chance to separate himself even further if he wins the Travers. Whether he does that or not, that'll be a discussion down the road. But he's got something going for him. He's really courageous in both wins. The one thing I'll say too about Saturday's Haskell is that for the second straight race, Mind Frame ran right by him at the leaving the far turn, entering the top of the stretch. Both races, Dornoch battled back to win. So I've got to give him a lot of credit. But I'm still not convinced 100% he's the best 3-year-old in the crop, and we'll find that out for sure in the coming months. Ashley,
I can't believe it. I might be his biggest supporter of the three of us, and if you watch the Twin Spires jury, I was his biggest hater for a long time. So I now feel like I have to respect him. We've talked a lot about the inconsistency with the 3-year-old division. He has 2 straight Grade 1 wins and 2 straight triple-digit Brisnet speed figures. And you mentioned him being overtaken by Mind Frame in this race, the Haskell, and in the Belmont, and fighting back. He also did that in the Remsen. He was slightly overtaken by Sierra Leone as a 2-year-old and fought back. So seeing his ability to show this grit in the stretch run, I feel like now going into the Travers, I do say he's the horse to beat. Of course, Sierra Leone could win the Jim Dandy. Fierceness could win the Jim Dandy. but I also would expect Fierceness to lose his next start just based off of his pattern. But I'm going to go with Dornoch being the horse to beat right now. I just feel like he's the only one that's got proven consistency as a 3-year-old.
That's a fair point.
Thank you, James. Well, you mentioned Thorpedo Anna, who could be the post-time favorite in the Travers. So, James, tell me a little bit more about Thorpedo Anna's chances in the Travers.
I view her chances favorably. I think she's poised to give males all they can handle in the Travers if she has no trouble with the 1.25 mile distance. In fact, that's the real issue in my mind right now is the distance. Now, she's certainly made 9 furlongs look easy, recording 3 consecutive Grade 1 wins. I really liked her performance in this Coaching Club American Oaks, considering she missed the start. She hopped when the gates opened, and then she powered her way to the front. So if she was going to have a bad start at one of these upcoming races, I was sort of glad it was in the Coaching Club American Oaks and not in the Travers later this month. But the thing is that there's no point in running her in the Alabama in my mind. She's going to catch a real short field, and those rivals will probably be overmatched once again against her. And in my mind, this year is a down year in a sense for 3-year-old males and for older males. And that makes the Breeders' Cup Classic, well, the horse of the year picture at this point, really just completely wide open. Thorpedo Anna has a chance to step into the mix for horse of the year honors in the Travers Stakes. And if she carries her speed and form forward, she's going to have a huge chance of winning that race. So I look at her chances right now as being very favorable. And I think she's got a chance to make a serious impact moving forward, Vance.
Now, I thought for a long time this summer that if Thorpedo Anna was going to take on males this summer, the best spot would have been the Haskell rather than the Travers. And that was based on the 1 1/8 distance and the historical success fillies had in the Monmouth race. You look at Serena's Song, you look at Rachel Alexandra. And, in light of what happened in the Haskell on Saturday, Kenny McPeak perhaps made the right choice to stick with fillies over the weekend in the Coaching Club American Oaks. And I think the Travers is going to be an even tougher spot than the Haskell. And as you said, it's over a distance, 1.25 miles she has not yet tried. She looks like she could easily get 1.25 miles, but until she actually does try it, we simply don't know. Kind of a broader view, racing fillies against males makes the most sense if the spot looks winnable. And although she would deserve her place in the Travers, I think a more winnable spot in my mind would arguably be the Pennsylvania Derby at Parks in September. That's also a Grade 1. Obviously nowhere near as prestigious as the Travers, but of course no filly has won the Travers in well over a century. A few have tried. But at this stage, in the game, her best route to transcend her division, a division she's basically already locked up, a 3-year-old filly champion. But I think the best route for her to transcend her division might be more of a race like the Pennsylvania Derby rather than the Travers, in my estimation.
I agree.
That's a fair point. Now, I will say, I think she's a threat to take it right to him from the start. Her speed will be dangerous.
I'd certainly like to see her in the race, and Kenny McPeak said that he thinks it would be good for the sport to have a filly go up against the boys. And he mentioned to the Alabama, what kind of field are we going to get if she were to enter the Alabama? She went off at 1-4 in the Coaching Club American Oaks. So, her odds are going to be very, very low. No one's going to enjoy betting that race if she's in the Alabama. So I would love to see her in the Travers. She is by Fast Anna, whose sire is Medaglia d'Oro, who won the 2002 Travers. So maybe she can handle the distance. I would certainly love to see her try it. I think she will. I could see her finishing top 3. I don't know if she'll win it, but I think it would be great to see a filly go up against the boys in such a big race at Saratoga. So I'm hoping for it. And her final time for the CCA Oaks was 150.95, which was not far off of Dornoch's final time of 150.31. So she was right there. But again, that was at 1 1/8 miles, and this is going to be 1.25 miles at the Travers. So a little bit different.
I'll just say this. I mean, I look at the Travers. I look at Thorpedo Anna. How do I think she'd match up against males? If she and Dornoch were running against each other at 1.8 miles distance, I'd bet her every time. Maybe Dornoch, you could give him the edge at the 10 furlong distance based on his last two races. But I just think that she deserves a chance. And Vance is right. The Pennsylvania Derby might be an easier spot, but that's still that she would have to wait 2 months. And to me, right now, she's as good as she's going to get potentially. And why not strike while the iron's hot in a sense?
Vance, let's talk about another top female runner. So tell me what else caught your eye this weekend.
Well, the reigning champion, older mare Idiomatic, just barely pulled out a victory in the Molly Pitcher at Monmouth on Saturday as a 1-10 favorite. Kind of a tactically messy race for her. Rather than wing it on an uncontested lead, she attempted to lull her rivals to sleep, setting a pretty dawdling pace, 25, 50, and that's not her style. And it took virtually everything she had to claw back and regain the advantage from Soul of an Angel after that far less accomplished foe took a tour around the far turn. Granted, the track played slow and deep all day, but what should have been an easy win for her proved to be yet more evidence in my mind that perhaps she isn't quite as good as she was at this time a year ago. Her next port of call is the Personal Ensign at Saratoga next month, and and that will be another opportunity for that thesis to be proven or not, whether she is up to the challenge of repeating as champion older mare this year, James.
Yeah, that's a fair point. I agree. I mean, I didn't think she was I mean, her comeback race at Churchill Downs was good, but I mean, her last two efforts definitely make you very leery about whether or not she can repeat this fall in the distaff. What else caught my eye? I'm gonna mention first off Tappet Trice. He's back. He returned from 11-month layoff or a near 11-month layoff in the Grade 3 Monmouth Cup at 1 1/8 miles, and he looked really good. He raced closer to the pace. He was within a couple lengths of a moderate pace in that race, and then made his move off the far turn. He went one going away by more than 5 lengths. This could not have been a more encouraging performance. Todd Pletcher could not be more bullish on this son of Tappet being improved as a 4-year-old. And I could see it. I mean, actually, there's really no reason why you would expect a horse like this to improve off of his comebacker. But I will exercise a little caution with him and just mention, like last year after Tappet Trice won his first 2 stakes races in the Tampa Bay Derby and the Bluegrass Stakes, I thought he would keep on building off of those, or at least play a role in his division. And he followed with the 7th in the Derby and 3 more non-threatening performances that conclude the year. So I certainly hope Tappet Trice can keep showing more. And his next start will be the Grade 1 Jockey Club Gold Cup at Saratoga in early September. But he's going to still have to prove it to me in a sense, because I've been fooled by him before, Ashley. Oh, and also, I'm sorry. I got one other thing. I jumped off it real quick. Mark Casse. I want to mention the hottest trainer in North America last week. From Wednesday to Sunday, Mark Casse won 14 of 42 starts, 33% clip. He had 3 wins and 2 seconds from 7 starts at Saratoga. He's now jumped up the trainer standings this meet. He's 6 for 18 at Saratoga. And Casse sent out 5 stakes winners. He had Get Smoking in the Grade 2 UN at Grade 2 United Nations at Monmouth Park. He had Pounced in the Grade 2 Lake George at Saratoga. He had Solo Album in the Grade 3 Trillium at Woodbine. He had My Boy Prince, who Ashley will get to in the Plate Trial Stakes at Woodbine. And he had the nice 2-year-old filly Mensa in the Victoria Stakes. So a very impressive week indeed for Mark Casse, Ashley.
I was happy to see Pounce get the win too. That was my best bet in the Twin Spires Jury. 8-1 on the morning line, bet down to 5-1, but still pretty good payout there.
2 weeks in a row too that you've nailed your best bet.
Hopefully I can keep the streak going.
All right.
But I will highlight My Boy Prince, who was a horse that I mentioned in the jury last week as well, that I was looking forward to watching race this week because he was in the Plate Trial Stakes at Woodbine, and it was his first 2-turn try on Thorpedo, and he was stretching out to 1 1/8 miles for the first time. He actually had a very slow start and was able to rebound and rally to win by believe it was a length and a quarter in this race, and he beat 6 rivals and will now probably be the front runner, I would say, in the King's Plate on August 17th. And Mark Casse got his 3rd straight win in the plate trial with this and is looking to get his 2nd straight win in the King's Plate as well. This is a horse I talked about on the roundtable a while ago. He won by 14 lengths in the Simcoe Stakes, so definitely jumped off the page with that win. And I'm certainly excited to see him try a 1.25 miles now in the King's Plate. So we'll see what happens, but I think he can get the job done.
He's got a big chance. I mean, he showed good class last year. He ran 2nd in a Grade 1 at Woodbine, and then he was 3rd in the Breeders' Cup Juvenile Turf. So definitely my boy Prince has something going for him as far as the Queen's Plate or King's Plate this year.
Absolutely.
He seems to be kind of a throwback horse too. He does have 12 career starts, or
Yeah, he's run. I think that was his 4th start this year. That was good.
It was. He's 3 for 4. His only loss was on the turf this season at Keeneland in the Palisades. He was coming off a 5-month layoff from that 3rd in the Breeders' Cup Juvenile Turf. So
he's
very versatile.
Yeah, and he had a very busy juvenile campaign too. So it's nice to see horses like that run often, win often, and like you said, horse to beat in the King's Plate for sure.
I look forward to seeing him in person there. Twin Spirals will be at Woodbine, so definitely looking forward to that. But that's all the time we have today for the Racing Roundtable. We'll be back next Tuesday, and of course on Thursday we have our best bets and fades on the Twin Spires jury. We'll see you then.